Mr. Bazan, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I want to thank our witnesses for attending. Mr. Cormier, you talked about making sure that policies are moving in lockstep. Do you believe that the Canadian foreign policy informed the defense policy update? Do we have a foreign policy?
Yeah, when's the last time that happened? I feel as though Darren would probably be better equipped to handle that question, actually. You want to jump in?
Yeah, sure. What I would just offer is that when we did the exercise in 2017, there was that cyclical engagement and then a quality assurance against existing policy and intentions towards the latter portion of the policy development period and after it had been presented to Cabinet in broad terms and before it was actually published. So we had that kind of coherence. I expect it is similar in this particular exercise in that we don't have a coherently formed and published foreign policy. It would have been that kind of internal consultation throughout and then a validation exercise towards the back end.
Thank you. And I think that would explain why we have a situation happening right now where Minister Joly was on CBC this weekend or end of last week when she was asked about a Canadian naval vessel sitting in Cuba alongside Russian Navy ships. She says, it's news to me. We shouldn't have to look into it. And then we have Minister Blair coming out on the weekend, said this was all very well planned, but yet when you look at the news release that came from National Defense April 18th, they talked about the HMCS Margaret Brooke going to Operation Carib and exercise trade winds, no mention of a port of call stop. And then you have the ship sail in and an announcement made on June the 12th that will conduct a port visit to Havana from June 14th to 17th in recognition of our long-standing bilateral relationship between Canada and Cuba. Cuba being, of course, a communist regime, multiple human rights violations, a country that has allowed its citizens to join the Russian army and commit war in Ukraine. Their own military is doing training in Belarus, of course, a strong ally of Russia. So I question the logic in having Canadian warships giving credence to a communist regime like Cuba. And so, Mr. Chair, I'd move the following motion. Given that the HMCS Margaret Brooke docked in Havana, Cuba, at the same time as several Russian warships, and that the Minister of Foreign Affairs appeared to know nothing about this deployment, telling CBC News, listen, this is something that I need to look at much, much closer. This is information that is news to me. And quote, that the committee called the Minister of National Defense and the Minister of Foreign Affairs to appear separately for no less than 1 hour each within 7 days of this motion being adopted.
I take that as an intention to move a motion. You have not given 48 hours, so it's not debatable now.
It is relevant to the testimony.
I do not think it is relevant to the testimony. We're here to talk about policy. We're maybe talking about
Foreign
strategy.
We're
not talking about tactics. This, as I interpret that motion, as a tactical motion and what the military does. So the ruling of the chair is that the 48 hours is required in order to be able to debate this motion.
I challenge the chair's ruling.
Challenge the chair. Those in favor of the chair's, how do I call this? And you probably want to record the vote.
Yeah,
Yes.
The question is, shall the ruling of the chair be sustained?
That means, tell them what
Shall
the
it,
statement
yeah,
is.
sorry, that means, shall the ruling of the chair be continued,
Upheld.
basically, be
Upheld.
upheld? Yeah. Recorded vote. Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Fillmore.
Yes.
Ms. Lambropoulos.
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Lalonde. Mr.
Yes.
Bazan.
No.
Mr. Kelly.
No.
Ms. Gallant.
No.
Mr. Allison.
No.
Madame Normandin.
We.
And Ms. Matheson.
Yes.
So it's 7 yeas, 4 nays.
Okay, pardon?
When I start moving the motion,
Yeah,
the clock stops.
you went 3 minutes and 2 seconds, so you've got 2 minutes left.
2 minutes left. Okay, so going back to questions to witnesses, although I have to say that I'm completely disgusted by the decision by Mr. Blair to allow our ships to be sitting in dock alongside Russian warships. Let's talk about, Mr. Perry, you are critical of the lack of funding or long-term plans on some major procurements like submarines and air defense systems. Can you drill down on this, on how this is going to impact not only how badly we're going to be perceived at the Washington NATO summit, but our ability to meet the threats that are currently challenging Canada?
So in terms of how we'll be perceived, I mean, I think it's no simpler than 1.76%, even if we hit it, isn't the 2% we committed to. And I think there's serious implications of us not living up to what we said we would do. In terms of what that money would actually be spent on and what would come with it, I think despite it being a generational investment, despite the low start state, Our North Strong and Free is only keep some of the lights on funding. It will not keep the lights on a submarine capability, as an example, and many other platforms. So it doesn't even continue the same type of Canadian military we have today. And it doesn't actually invest in other much-needed capabilities like an integrated system for air and missile defense and many other capabilities, including those that would enable digital transformation.
So, Mr. Cormier, you talked about the recruitment crisis and not using reserves to augment the forces and help with getting some of those numbers up. What's the recommendations from CDAI on fixing the recruitment situation that we have?
Very briefly, please.
Yeah, is there a specific thing?
And Yuri, what I would just offer, is we need to treat this as a systems issue. You can create a digital platform to bring people in. You can address aspects of getting faster medical screening done or security clearance screening done. But unless the services themselves also adapt to their ability to take a large inflow through the various MOC occupation training structures, which is always a challenge, then you will have just a bottleneck at a different place. So it needs to be a step back, look at it from a systems point of view, not simply transactional.
Thank you, Admiral. I apologize insincerely for cutting people off, but I've got 25 minutes left and I've got a couple of rounds of questions I want to get in.